Thanks for joining us at the Best of Five pod. This is your co-host Grant Kreitzer and your co-host Claire Kreitzer.
Hi, everyone.
We're siblings that love NCAA volleyball.
Yes.
For now, we'd like to focus on recaps and keep you informed on all the best things at NCAA volleyball.
And the road to Kansas City.
Let's
In
go!
2025.
Road to Kansas City. So our main focus now is going to be recapping the last season for this episode, and then once this episode is over, it's all preseason, regular season, and we're going to do our best to keep you up to date on the good games, good players to watch, and some underdogs that might surprise you. So we're just going to get right into the 2024 NCAA tourney. Those results, those upsets, it was very nail-biting, lots and lots of good games, and very, very talented teams. So let's get right into it.
Let's do it. So 2024 saw a very, very competitive tournament and the most parity that we have seen over the years. We had teams who were ranked really high, but either lost sets or lost games and ended their season because there is just so much more parity across conferences. Conferences are so much deeper now. It's not just the Big Ten. So let's talk about some of the games, some of the big players in the 2024 tournament so that you know and we can all prepare for the 2025 season.
And although the tournament had plenty of upsets and some lower ranked teams make it very far and take out some big hitters, we did end up with the top 4 ranked teams being the Final Four, which made a very, very exciting Final Four.
It just felt very, very right.
Yeah.
You know, the best teams with the best stats.
And not only that, but in the semifinals, they were all rivals.
Exactly.
But before we get too ahead of ourselves, we're going to go through some of the games earlier in the bracket, in the tournament. So one of the biggest nail biters that I have to admit, I still to this day have not watched because I was at work. And although I will bring my iPad to work to watch big games, I was not necessarily worried about this one. And this game that we're speaking of is Louisville Uni.
Louisville UNI.
Sorry.
It's okay. They'd say UNI.
Oh, okay. UNI. Oh, that's cute, like the Lady Gaga song.
Oh.
All right, so UNI. It went to 5 sets. Louisville obviously ended up winning with 3 sets. And I'm going to let you take this one because I did not really watch.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately. I watched this game live and it wrecked me.
Yeah.
It sent me into an emotional state. I cried multiple times watching. One, it was so beautiful. Especially because there were some familial connections to the game. So Peyton Peterson, who I think was a sophomore at the time, was playing against her mom, who's the head coach of UNI, and her twin sister, who also plays on the team. So that was really cool and a different, an interesting dynamic, and really cool to see a family competing at the highest level. And also it was one of the most emotion-filled games because the stakes were so high. For Louisville, they're playing in their home gym. They have a lot of seniors, and 2 of those seniors being quote-unquote hometown heroes, with Anna DeBeer and Elena Scott. They're both from Louisville and have played at Louisville their whole careers. So their career is on the line. And UNI just played lights out and did not let balls drop. I think one of the sets went into the 30s, which was wild. And then even the, 5th set was played point for point. So you never really knew who was going to take it and who wanted it more because they both wanted it so bad. And it just came down to the crowd really helped Louisville. You could even see the emotion on Elena Scott and Anna DeBeer and Charity Looper, all of their faces, because they knew what was at stake and they were trying their hardest.
Yeah.
And UNI was just keeping up and playing point for point. And so it was just a really beautiful match. And I think it just goes to show that volleyball and sports can mimic life,
Yeah.
and can really teach us lessons besides just wins and losses, but, the things along the way.
Yeah, and I remember a lot of the women on the team for Louisville saying in interviews that like that was exactly what they needed in
Yes.
order to get to the main stage, to make sure that they gave their fans what they wanted, which was playing in a championship in Louisville. And honestly, and I think the Louisville team would agree with this, if they had not almost lost that game, which they did almost lose that game on multiple occasions, they may not have made it to the championship or even the semifinals, because anything can happen in the tournament, which we've seen time and time again.
Yeah.
And some teams that you might count out will very much surprise you, because that's just the game of volleyball.
Exactly. And just the nature of playing in a tournament and playing for the national championship. And just one other piece that made me emotional was it was 2 women head coaches.
Yes.
And I love to see that. I love to see strong women coaching and leading the next generation of young women.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really important.
So that goes to show just how crazy things can get, how unexpected things are. And to go back to what you said about the female coaches, that then foreshadowed the championship match, which I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but let's move on to the next couple games that were some nail biters. We had Dayton, who won against Baylor in 5 sets in the second round. And one of the standout players of the entire tournament was a 5'8" outside hitter from Dayton,
gosh.
Lexi Almodovar.
Almodovar.
Lexi Almodovar.
I don't think that's right, but
yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry, girl.
Yeah. We heard her name so much during the tournament. Now, mind you, that was months and months ago, so it's lost in our memory, but her impact on the tournament and the games were definitely not lost on us. Her jumping ability, and not to mention she's 5'8" outside hitter, which is not completely unheard of, but it is extremely impressive. And just to go to show how much you can do as a motivated, shorter athlete in volleyball, she's now committed to the Atlanta Vibe, playing professional. So all you little girls out there, don't count yourself out. You can do whatever you put your mind to.
Yes. And it was, obviously it was her play and her athletic ability and her skill, but it was also her passion and her competitive nature. And another one, Dayton had a hot
streak.
Hot tournament in the Sweet 16. So the game after, they made it to their second weekend ever.
So their first Sweet 16.
So their first Sweet 16 as well. I just remember them talking in interviews about, oh my gosh, we get to play an extra week. We get to practice an extra week. And I thought that was really cool. They took a set from Nebraska. Nebraska ended up winning 3-1, but they played, especially those first 2 sets, they played really point for point with Nebraska, which is...
It's a feat.
It's in Nebraska's home gym.
Yeah. Next up, nail biters that we have noted: Wisconsin, Texas A&M. Wisconsin won in 5 sets in the Sweet 16. Texas A&M, they also, like Dayton, had a bit of a hot streak. Texas A&M beat Arizona State, who was the winner of the Big 12 and had some very notable players. So that was definitely a big upset. Texas A&M was led by Logan Lednicki, who is currently in the national team pool. She played the first couple weeks. She's a super, super strong lefty right side. She was definitely a standout from the tournament.
Yeah, and we rewatched that game the other day because it is so competitive and good. Even the 5th set, I think, was 15-13. So, Texas A&M is right there, and we're going to have to really pay attention to them in 2025 because they are returning, I think, almost their entire roster, or at least all of their starters. They're going to be people to watch.
And also, I think a big part of Texas A&M's success in that game, regardless of the fact they lost, they had a lot of success. Taking 2 sets off of Wisconsin is no joke, but they were playing in Nebraska's gym
I forgot about
against
this.
one of Nebraska's biggest rivals, Wisconsin. So they had almost the entire support of the Nebraska fans, which that's a lot.
Yes. And yeah, if you know volleyball, you know Nebraska fans are, let's say, loyal.
Yeah.
This happened in the Sweet 16, Pitt 3, Oregon 2. And this was huge because Pitt had been ranked number 1
All year,
all year.
basically.
Yeah, basically all season. But again, what we're seeing is just two very evenly matched teams. And
I'm going to disagree with you on that. I personally kind of counted Oregon out. I
okay,
thought that Pitt would come in there and take care of business. And I just think that Pitt was so strong from every single position. And I definitely relied on Olivia Babcock, but she had like an incredible supporting cast. Whereas Oregon relied on Mimi Collier
true.
and had a good supporting cast.
Yeah.
So I personally did not expect that game to go 5, but again, volleyball will surprise you at every turn.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And I think similar to Louisville UNI, it was a wake-up call for Pitt.
yeah.
Like they had won a lot.
Pretty easily.
Pretty
Yeah.
handily. They had not been tested much.
Other than SMU and Louisville.
Exactly. So I think it was a good wake-up call for them to get the momentum and be able to push through and make it to the Final Four.
Absolutely.
So yeah, now let's transition into some upsets.
I would say the biggest upset and disappointment, depending on who you're rooting for, was Missouri against SMU in the second round. And SMU was a contender for definitely going to the Final Four. They gave Pitt a run for their money every time they played.
They beat Nebraska.
Oh, yes.
In like
preseason.
Yeah. They swept Nebraska at home.
Which was huge.
Yes.
Like,
and a great confidence boost moving forward.
Definitely.
Because they had a lot of transfers that had, come to and wanted to play in the ACC and wanted to play competitively at the national level. And they really proved themselves by beating Nebraska.
Yeah.
So there were really high hopes for them in the tournament.
Because they had a successful conference season, but didn't have the gas to get through the tournament, or at least get through very far.
Yeah. And I think it partially goes to just a lack of experience.
Yeah. Not only did they not have the experience or a ton of experience in the tournament, especially deep in the tournament, but they also didn't have the experience playing next to each other for at least a full season prior to the 2024 season and the 2024 tournament.
Right. And I think with Missouri beating them goes to show the competitiveness in the SEC. It was a really great game. I mean, Missouri deserves all of it.
Absolutely.
They played so well. And yeah, SMU just couldn't get the job done.
They were overwhelmed by Missouri.
Yes.
Like, Missouri came out swinging, and I don't think that they were really expecting all that.
Exactly. But yeah, and then the other upset that involves an SEC team, Ole Miss over Florida State in the first round. This Ole Miss, I don't think was ranked going into the tournament.
Nope.
And FSU was, and they were able to get the win. And I watched that match, and Ole Miss did what Missouri did with SMU. Came in, didn't care who their opponent was going to play their best volleyball and pretty much refused to lose, which is something that we love to say and love to do. But yeah, just played really well, had a lot of heart, and it goes to show you that anything can happen in the tournament. You can't rely on skills or stats or records. It really just depends on who's having a great day and who can control the controllables more.
All right, so now that we got through some of the earlier games in the tournament, we're going to go on to the Elite Eight, which had just the titans of the volleyball community.
Of the current NCAA volleyball landscape.
Exactly. You had Pitt, Kentucky, Louisville, Stanford, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Penn State, Creighton, and surprisingly, 2 of those games were sweeps.
Yes, I also found that very surprising.
Pitt took down Kentucky in 3 sets. Nebraska swept their rival Wisconsin in 3 sets. And then Penn State Creighton was definitely a nail biter.
Yes.
Penn State was at home playing Creighton, who had just beat the then current reigning national champs Texas.
Yes.
With Maddie Skinner and just a ton of heavy hitters.
Yeah, and we didn't include Creighton over Texas in the upsets because technically Creighton was ranked number 2 and Texas was ranked number 3.
Yeah.
Even though Texas was the 2-time reigning NCAA champs, they suffered some tough losses in conference play.
I have a conspiracy about this. Continue.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the conspiracy?
I would love to talk about the conspiracy. All of this is alleged. I am not speaking factually. I am speaking in weird conspiracy my mind. I think that Jared Elliott, the head coach of Texas, plans his losses in the conference play in order to get the seeding that he wants.
Okay.
I do not think that he wants to be seeded number 1 because that puts a target on your back.
Yeah.
And if you're ranked lower, you are then challenged a lot more through the tournament, which if it works out in your way, gives you a ton of momentum.
That's true.
So that's my little conspiracy that I have going on. I'll have to do a little more digging. It's a strategy, but it also might not be a strategy, and I'm just crazy.
Yeah, I can see that and can get on board. I might need a few more facts.
Totally.
But
I'm not here to give you facts.
But I think what happened with Texas is they never found their footing, especially with setting.
Yeah.
Ella Swindle was their freshman setter when they won the national championship, and at points was on the bench or running a 6-2 with Avery Carlson. And I think there was some drama outside of their control. I think with the online community and Texas volleyball fans blatantly bullying Avery Carlson because they wanted Ella Swindle to start. That's unacceptable.
Totally.
And I think that also just really contributes to a tough culture.
For everyone.
For everyone involved.
Yeah.
When it should just be, we're a team. We're going to put the best people out there.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we need to do in order to succeed and be the best we can be. And I think this year they just weren't able to find that because of external factors.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, geez, we really spoke a lot about Texas when they weren't even in the Elite 8. But
yeah, but you have to talk about Texas.
Absolutely. Another game from the Elite 8, which was really tough for me to watch, was Louisville-Stanford.
Oh, I
Louisville
hated it.
won 3-1, and it was tough for me because those are 2 of my favorite teams.
Me too.
I love all of the women on both teams. I think they're so fun to watch. There's so much talent. But at the end of the day, I did want Louisville to be able to contend for the championship in their hometown.
Yeah, I was definitely like 55% Louisville, 45% Stanford. I would have been happy with either result, but I knew it meant there was a little bit more meaning behind a Louisville victory.
Totally.
But the thing that breaks my heart is Elena Ogilvie, Sammy Francis, and Cami Minor, who are all so good.
Yes.
And
elite. Very elite.
Yes, and are so fun to watch. They made it to 4 straight Elite Eights and never got the opportunity to compete at the Final Four, which is just
disheartening.
But as we've said a couple times already, the tournament, you never know what's going to happen. And it could just come down to a bad day, or even not even just a bad day, 1 or 2 points.
Yeah. And I think what it did come down to with this matchup, Louisville-Stanford, Louisville had the scrappiness that I do think that Stanford tends to lack. I think Stanford is the most technically sound team consistently, no matter what their roster looks like. They are very technically trained.
Yeah. And because they're so smart.
They're so smart. They go to Stanford. Like,
Right.
of course, they're so technical. I would love to see a level of just real scrappiness. Yeah. All right, and then that Elite Eight, which with all of those titans of the current NCAA volleyball landscape, set us up for a fantastic Final Four.
Yes.
Full of rivalries. We had Louisville, Pitt, and then Penn State, Nebraska. Now, if you're new to the NCAA volleyball landscape, those are the rivalries.
Yes.
Those are the two biggest rivalries, I would say.
Yeah. I think some people would disagree and say
Okay.
maybe Wisconsin, Nebraska,
Yeah.
or UCLA, USC.
Yeah.
Florida, Kentucky.
Yep.
But I think in the past 4 years, these have been the ones that have been at least most prevalent in our viewing, and they're both in conference. You had an ACC matchup and then a Big Ten matchup, and these teams had already seen each other twice. So this was the third time that they are meeting.
Yeah.
And you could just feel through the screen the rivalry. I don't even know how else to really describe it.
Yeah. I also don't even know how to put it into words, because those women, at least for the time that they are on the court against each other, like, they actually hate each other.
Yes. And we know that's not true.
Exactly.
Because some of them are friends outside
Club
of,
friends,
yes,
yeah.
or former teammates or things like that. But sometimes, and I think especially at this level, and I think you would agree, like, a little bit of hate can really light a fire.
Yeah.
And get you to victory. The one X factor that nobody saw coming and was really heartbreaking was Anna DeVere's injury in the third set.
Yeah, it happened, and it truly was like, if there was one person in the entire tournament that I would not want to get injured, it's Anna DeVere.
I agree.
She's hometown hero of Louisville, had then spent, 5 or 6 seasons on the team due to COVID?
I think 5 due to COVID.
5 seasons due to COVID, going to contend for the national championship in her hometown.
In front of her friends and family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bottom line, it was just straight up heartbreaking, but it's so clear that her team had her back.
Yes.
Because no matter who they put in, they were going to get the job done for Anna DeVere.
Exactly.
And it was beautiful to see.
It was. I mean, nobody really knew the extent. I mean, we knew it was bad because she, probably would have done anything to continue playing in that game. But yeah, went down with a bad ankle injury. Really changed the feeling of the game too. Yes. Slowed some things down, and really showed the emotion of it. And Peyton Peterson stepped up
and stepped out.
Yes. She got some aces.
Yeah.
And really provided them with the stability that they needed to continue.
And mind you, as someone who didn't get playing time or get much playing time throughout the season, was an underclassman and undersized.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think they relied on Olivia Babcock. She had over 30 kills. She played lights out. Louisville was just able to find that second gear. I don't even know what it was. It's definitely an intangible thing, and Pitt wasn't able to grasp it.
For the 4th year in a row.
Yes.
For the 4th year in a row, Pitt made it to the national semifinals and did not make it to the championship match. And not only Pitt, but Rachel Fairbanks specifically, the star setter for 4 years, got so close to a championship match, but couldn't quite make the cut. And I especially feel for Rachel Fairbanks, because we know and we see how hard she works and how talented she is. And not too many people are going to complain about making a national semifinal, but I think Rachel Fairbanks has a little room to complain.
Definitely. Yeah. And I don't know what it's going to take to get them over that hump. They probably don't even know either.
No.
But yeah, I mean, Pitt's always going to be a competitor, and I'm sure they're going to be eyeing to get to the national championship in 2025.
For sure.
And then our other Final Four match, unbelievable Big Ten rivalry match. Penn State came out victorious 3 over Nebraska 2 in
a reverse sweep. I was pooping my pants, throwing up.
Same.
My eyes were bulging out. My eyes were closed because they were covered in tears. Like, I physically went through maybe more than the girls.
My heart definitely did.
I lost 10 years of my life watching that game, and I'm glad for it.
Yes.
I think I will be 90 years old going back to rewatching that game. And quite frankly, it will probably give me a heart attack, even though I know what happens. It was
exactly
the definition of a nail biter. I believe it was like the first reverse sweep in a national semifinal in either like a million years or like
NCAA history.
Yeah, it was insane. There's so much we can say about this game, but I don't think I can do it without crying. So
yeah, like honestly, just watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's probably a little hard to watch as a Nebraska fan.
Totally.
So maybe don't subject yourself to that. But if you are a volleyball fan, an NCAA volleyball fan, please, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch.
Yeah.
Go watch it. It's on YouTube, and then you'll know why we're pretty much speechless.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to shout out Andy Jackson from Nebraska. She at one point she was hitting like 750 with no errors.
Yeah.
It was a sight to see, but Penn State with grit, with
their motto for the year was bigger than us. And I mean, it's apparent to everyone that watches that game, everyone that was in the gym, like they were fighting for something that was much bigger than the NCAA championship. It was for their coach, Katie Schumacher-Colley, who was diagnosed with breast cancer, who was going through chemo treatments, and on top of that, having a family, coaching full-time, having a family and coaching full-time is a task upon itself, but considering everything else she was going through, I mean, like, it is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and you could feel it. So yeah, then after those, I mean, I didn't think it could get any better, really.
But it can.
And it
could. And it did.
It did.
We had our personal, I'm speaking for myself, but I also believe I'm speaking for you.
Mm-hmm.
Our two favorite teams, Penn State, Louisville. Love this game, although it was slightly heartbreaking. And I didn't know the entire time who I wanted to win. Because, again, Louisville was at home. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But on the other hand, Penn State is our hometown heroes.
Exactly. They're our baby girls.
Yes.
But also, like, we've just grown up being Penn State volleyball fans, going to Penn State games as kids, going to
Penn State camp.
Yeah, Penn State volleyball camp. And, yeah, just being really avid fans from a young age. And also knowing what Coach Katie and the whole team had gone through that year.
Yeah.
And also seeing their growth.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't ranked number 1. At the beginning of the season, people weren't sure if Izzy Stark was going to be able to,
carry the team.
Yeah, run the offense. They weren't sure if Caroline Juravicius was going to, make the transition from Nebraska to Penn State. Like, there were a lot of unknowns.
Yep.
But I think as the season progressed, they showed that they were a national championship team because of playing in the Big Ten, winning towards the end of the season, being co-Big Ten champions, I think gave them a lot of confidence. And you could definitely see that confidence at play in this match, even though Louisville was at home in front of their fans. But regardless of that, Elena Scott, Charity Looper, PK Kong, Kara Cressy,
Reese
Robbins,
Sophie Maldonado
Oh, how did I
Diaz,
forget?
Cabello. What's her first
Yeah,
name?
Nialise
Nile's
Cabello.
Cabello.
Yeah, they didn't miss a beat, but it was definitely it's a hard thing to lose your glue,
Yeah,
your leader. And yeah, Penn State I think just did a total team effort.
absolutely.
They got their middles involved. They just were fearless and refused to lose. And yeah, ended up winning 3-1. And
Woo! We are.
we are Penn State. But also we love good volleyball.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, we would have been, sad for our favorite team, but
Yeah.
also you can't complain when we just had a season of greats. So that's the recap of what happened last year.
Yep.
And I think that'll inform a lot of our predictions for 2025, along with what we're going to talk about next, which is who graduated from these top 25 teams, how that's going to impact their 2025 rosters. And then also, there were some major coaching changes and big transfer portal updates.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I'll start out with Penn State, who lost Jess Merzick, Cameron Hanna, and Taylor Trammell. So that's both of their starting outsides and one of their starting middles, which is a big deal. It's
yeah,
a big
they
deal,
were all leaders on the team too.
big time. Yeah, they were big leaders. Definitely the rocks on the team. And then from the runner-up of the NCAA tournament, Louisville, they lost Anna DeBeer, Elena Scott, Charity Looper, Ellie Glock, Sophie Maldonado Diaz.
Yeah, so they lost all of their pins.
Yeah.
Both outsides and their opposite.
Yeah. Although they will still have their one right side because they ran a 6-2
Oh,
last year.
true. I
They'll still
forgot.
have Reese Robbins on the right side. So that's at least one pin that is not new to the program or new to getting playing time.
Yeah, and most of those, actually, 3 of them are fifth years.
Yeah, so they had spent a lot of time in Louisville. Yeah, Ellie Glock, who was a setter in their 6-2, and then Maldonado Diaz, who was the other right side.
Yes.
And then Pitt lost their star setter, Rachel Fairbanks, who I talked about earlier. Emmy Klicka, their libero. Valeria Vasquez Gomez, their outside hitter. So, yeah, they lost their setter, their libero, and one of their pins. On top of losing their star outside hitter, Tori Stafford.
Right.
More on that later.
Exactly. Keep listening. We'll fill you in on
Keep
that,
listening.
And then the next team, Nebraska, they, I think, out of the final 4 teams, lost the least
Totally.
to graduation.
And that's how it's been the last 2 years for them, too.
Right, because they have really, their now junior class has been really a mainstay for them. But they only lost one player, and that is their opposite hitter, Merritt Beeson, who was a transfer from Florida, but was immediately a leader of the team.
A captain of the team.
Yeah, a captain. Junior and I think her senior year, her and Lexi Rodriguez were the captains. So that's going to be a big loss for them, just leadership wise. But I'm not too worried about.
Well, and they also lost their superstar libero.
Oh my gosh. How did we forget in our prep?
Y'all, when we were making this list, we were just running through and writing out all of the like big time starters from these big time teams. And honestly, we should quit this podcast right now because we completely forgot to write down Lexi Rodriguez. I mean, one of, if not the best to ever do it.
Yes.
Just an absolute powerhouse in the back row. She will be missed, but not really because she's playing for the Love Professional League in Omaha, Nebraska. So Nebraska fans will have plenty of time to see her.
Yes, exactly. Nebraska, even though they are losing the least amount from the Final Four contenders, they are losing 2
very impactful players.
Yes, leaders and captains in Merritt Beeson and Lexi Rodriguez.
Yeah. All right, now that we cleared that up with Lexi Rodriguez, let's move on to Nebraska's rival, Wisconsin. They lost Anna Schmreck, who's currently playing for the Canadian national team. Devin Robinson, who I believe was a fifth year at Wisconsin.
Yes.
Spent a lot of time there. Very instrumental, although her playing time was lacking a bit. For those of you that don't know, Wisconsin had a very strange lineup / rotation where they used a few different middles, a few different people on the right side. Alongside Devin and Anna, they lost Cece Crawford, who's playing for the Indy Ignite in the previously known as PVF, now known as MVF.
Major League Volleyball, so MLV.
Now known as the MLF.
MLV.
Now known as the MLV. Y'all, these pro leagues need to get it together. I don't know what's happening. And then the 2023 National Player of the Year, Sarah Franklin, their star outside, that is playing for the national team.
Yeah, and also at Love Madison, and is killing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Also with Wisconsin, 4-year starter and multi-position player, Julia Orzel.
Yeah, of course.
And we love that girl. Yeah. We have loved watching her play. I think it was her junior season. She was the libero for the team after they had some injury and played lights out there. And then for her senior year, moved back to the outside. So she will be missed. I'm pretty sure she's back in Poland playing professionally. So yeah, we wish her all of the best and she will be missed. So the Badgers definitely lost some mainstays, some heavy hitters. So they have...
And some tall people.
Oh my gosh.
If you laid them all out from the people that graduated, I genuinely think it would be a mile.
Agreed. And then I think we kind of touched on this earlier, but Stanford lost 4-year starters as well. 3 of them, Elena Ogilvie, their libero, Sammy Francis, a middle, and I think she played a little right side at some point in her career as well.
She loves the slide, so she's comfortable hitting on the right side.
Yes, and then their setter, 4-year starter, Cami Minor.
Sammy Francis, one of my all-time faves. I loved her energy. If we get some traction on social media, I will gladly post this clip I have of her. It is the funniest thing ever. She has kind of an awkward approach on a slide. She kind of slipped a little bit and ended up scoring, and then the expressions on her face crack me up every single time. She is so funny. She is so beautiful. She is so good at volleyball. I love Sammy Francis, and she's currently playing for the Nebraska Love professional team.
So, yes, we love Sammy Francis. Shout out you.
Shout out Sammy Francis. Let's go. And also, not to underplay Elena Ogilvie and Cami Minor. We also are huge fans of them.
Yes.
But Sammy Francis is such a standout player for me. I just love her.
Yes. Okay, moving on to another team that suffered some losses of their starters. Kentucky, they lost Emma Grome, their setter, who has been a fixture of Kentucky volleyball for the past few years. Megan Wilson, one of their outsides, along with Erin Lamb, then also a DS who played a libero for a season or two, Eleanor Bevan. So yeah, there were some other losses, like you have Nora Sis from Creighton, who was an All-American. You also, for Minnesota, Melanie Schaffmaster, who was a 5th year there.
Along with Lydia Grote.
Yes. Yeah. And then some players from Florida, AC Fitzpatrick, who actually started at Penn State, transferred to Florida, and Ellie McKissick, who was their 4-year starter, or maybe even 5-year starter.
Yep. So to kind of piggyback off of what we were talking about with the graduates, there was also a decent amount of transfers and coaching transfers, and that's a big part of the NCAA volleyball world is transferring, which I'm going to be so honest with you, I don't have an opinion about it. I really don't. I know some people hate it. It's very polarizing.
It is.
For some reason, I'm not on either side. I really think do what you want to do.
Kind of disagree just because I have a bit of an opinion on it. I think if you are unhappy and want to go and try something else, you should have that opportunity. I also think that it makes for some off-season entertainment for us. Also, some opportunities that girls graduating from high school may not have had at the time.
So you're all for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think the only thing that I am not for is there are a lot of, or there's not a lot of regulations on NIL money. NIL, and I think that the NCAA and athletic departments need to do a lot of work on that to make it safe and profitable for the athletes, and not making sure that it's equitable as well across sports. Because I know that a lot of the times football teams and men's programs get a lot more NIL funding where women's teams do not. So I just think there needs to be more policy and more guidelines for it. But I think the transfer portal, I agree with. I mean, I transferred colleges.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're like unhappy and have the opportunity and want to try to find a better way, then yeah.
When I say I'm neutral, like I don't really care, that's kind of like you put into words how I feel about it. Like I just think like, yeah, do what you want to do. But also I understand why people disagree with it.
Yeah.
Because of the NIL and all of those things. So,
and also like tradition, like team.
Yeah, like building teams and
like you committed to a program, like you should stick it out for all 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
I agree. All right. So to start off the transfers, we're going to talk about staff transfers. I will say across the board, the most notable was John Cook of Nebraska retiring, which he's also announced that he's out of retirement to work for the Omaha Supernovas.
Yes.
He took a position there, so he'll be busy. Danny Busboom Kelly of Louisville Volleyball, who really helped to build that program and get them DBK to get them to the point where they are. She is an alumni of Nebraska and will now be taking over for John Cook, which I think will be very, very good for this Nebraska team, who has lost in the semifinals the last 2 years. And it might just be the right thing to shake things up and give you an extra push to get to that championship.
So Matt Ulmer from Oregon going to Kansas. I think he brought a couple of his Oregon players with him. He's been able to take Oregon to consistent Sweet 16s, Elite Eights, and you always make sure to watch out for them in the tournament, like Pitt had to do earlier in 2024. So I think it'll be really exciting to see what he is able to do at Kansas. And also another alumni connection, Kristen Kelsey. She was formerly the associate head coach at Minnesota. She took the head coach position at Michigan State. So she will be the head coach there.
At her alma mater.
Yes, at her alma mater, which I think is a really cool thing to see.
And then we also have Kirsten Barenthal Booth from Creighton, who stepped down, I would say.
Yes.
Because she didn't retire.
Yeah.
She took a job working for
Love Nebraska. She's the chief business something.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much like CEO, maybe even like business operations or something like that. So front office of Love Nebraska.
All right. So, and then the next one that we took note of is the iconic, the highly notarized, the very successful Mary Wise of Florida.
The legend.
Absolute legend. She's very wise. And all right, we're going to move on to the player transfers, which there's some big hitters in here that really shook up the trajectory of where this season is going to go.
Yeah, and I mean, changed so many team dynamics.
Yeah.
And changed the landscape.
Absolutely. And we have to keep in mind that not only did these teams lose their graduates, but they also lost people to the transfer portal. So the biggest story of the offseason was Tori Stafford transferring from Pitt to Texas. She'll be going into her junior year at Texas. It can pretty easily be assumed that she'll be taking over Maddie Skinner's spot as an outside. And yeah, I'm interested. I would love to pick her ear.
Pick her brain.
I would love to pick her ear. But I would love to pick her brain as to what led to that decision. No, it's okay. Yeah. And not only do I want to know what made her leave Pitt, but I also want to know what led her to Texas.
Yes.
So there's two sides of that I'd love to know.
I think there is kind of, I don't know if this is proven, but I know that Ella Swindle, Ramsey Gary, who's another transfer,
Yep.
A standout libero from Indiana, transferred also in the offseason to Texas. So Tori Stafford, Ella Swindle, and Ramsey Gary all played for the Under Armour All-American game together on the same team. And I think I saw something that like they became friends and have stayed in contact and, you know, always wanted to play with each other. So I think also that's a, I don't know if that's a full-fledged conspiracy, but it's not proven.
Okay. So I would say that's definitely the top transfer, top story of the offseason. Next up, Mimi Collier from Oregon is transferring to Wisconsin. And like Tori Stafford, it can be assumed that she's most likely going to take the spot of Sarah Franklin, which are some big shoes, probably literally speaking.
Yes, definitely.
So I'm very excited to see what she's going to bring to the Badgers. She's going to bring a lot of experience. She's going into her junior year.
Yes.
So she'll probably have 2 seasons with Wisconsin. And yeah, like we said, Wisconsin lost a lot of players, so they are definitely hurting for some big hitters.
Exactly. And then next we have, I think the biggest surprise, if, you know, like if Tori Stafford was the biggest story of the offseason, I think Kennedy Martin from Florida transferring to Penn State was the biggest surprise. And yeah, I mean, Kennedy Martin is a game changer. She's an unbelievable opposite hitter with so much range and so much power, and also just such great energy that she's going to make an immediate impact at Penn State. And then another impact player, another pin hitter that's transferred to Penn State in the offseason is Emmy Selman, who spent a season with Ohio State, so transferring in conference to Penn State. So even though the Nittany Lions lost their pin hitters to graduation, they have picked up 2 really stellar pin hitters from the transfer portal.
For sure.
But I think the next team that was impacted most by transfers is UCLA.
Big time.
Big time.
With UCLA this year, there are a decent amount of big names that will be going to UCLA.
Yeah, so starting off with the UCLA impact transfers, we have Mariana Singletary from Texas. I think she was at Texas for 2 or 3 years. Actually, no, 3 years, because she's a 2-time national champ.
Oh, yeah.
She was a starter last year, an impact player. Will do really great things for UCLA, for the Bruins in the middle. Another phenomenal middle who's one of our favorites, PK Kong.
Yup.
We love her. She's stellar in the middle, really long, has a lot of range, a lot of reach. So UCLA is set in the middle, at least in our opinion. And then they also had a defensive player, libero. She was actually the starting freshman libero for Wisconsin last year. Lola Schumacher is also making her way to Westwood and playing for the Bruins in 2025.
And then this duo that both ended up transferring out of Purdue definitely made some waves in the transfer portal. You have Chloe Chacoin going to Louisville, which I think is a great fit for her. Louisville, for years, have had really scrappy, really athletic, undersized outside hitters, and I think Chloe Chacoin fits that demographic perfectly. As I've seen from off-season and preseason pictures, like she seems to just completely gel with the team. So I'm really excited to see her in a red and white uniform.
Yeah, it's going to be different, and she won't have to wear
black knee pads
and black socks
and black shoes. Oh my gosh, it drives me insane. And also, I think there was a TikTok made about it too.
Yes, they
So
made a TikTok.
the Louisville team made a TikTok kind of making fun of not Purdue, but kind of Purdue, and wearing black socks and knee pads and all that. So alongside Chloe Chacoin transferring from Purdue, Eva Hudson, their other star outside, is transferring to Kentucky. So I would expect their outsides to be very successful, very talented Brooklyn DeLay, as well as a very successful, very talented Eva Hudson. So that's definitely a matchup that is going to take over some games.
And then the other transfer out of Purdue is Lourdes Myers, Purdue to Minnesota. She is a middle. She has been super successful in the middle.
Super solid, super successful.
Yep. And has so much potential. And just, at least in my opinion, I just don't think she clicked with the setter at Purdue.
Yes.
No shade on the setter at all. They never found it. So I'm really excited to see her go to Minnesota and see what she can do there.
Yeah. Next up, Avery Carlson, who we touched on earlier, getting bullied by Texas. She really did get run out of Texas. And of course, we hate to see that, but I'm very glad that she escaped that situation and is moving on to SMU, which I know she'll bring a lot of experience and a lot of talent. And hopefully with a better energy, space,
culture, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
She'll be able to really shine, which she didn't necessarily get the opportunity to do at Texas.
Yeah, like even though she would start and be a starter, there was always just that underlying feeling. And I think too, with SMU losing their starting setter and leader Celia Cullen to graduation, she'll be a great fit to lead them in 2025.
Yeah, so believe it or not, we are super excited for the new season. We're excited for every new season. Truly, we have no idea what this season will hold. We can make our predictions all we want, but it's volleyball.
Exactly.
It's magic. It's mystery. It's misery sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's our favorite sport and our favorite TV show.
And it's just the best.
Yep.
And I think it sets the stage for the road to Kansas City.
Yep.
And next week, we will focus more on our predictions for the 2025 season, and also make some predictions for the first couple weeks of the season, tell you what games that you need to be paying attention to, and, you know, what players to watch, what teams to watch, and also some, you know, hot takes or just a little bit of fun. But yeah, I think we're just really excited for the 2025 season, and we can't wait to see who is crowned victorious in Kansas City. Woo! So thanks for listening, and we'll check back in next week.
See you next time.